2026 FIFA World Cup was hosted across the United States. Fans from England, Scotland, France, Germany, and dozens of other nations arrived in millions, and within days, social media was not talking about football. Fans were talking about something else entirely. Things they had experienced in America that nobody had ever prepared them for. What followed were the culture shocks that generated the most shocked reaction. Of all the culture shocks Europeans experienced in America during the 2026 World Cup, none went more viral than the free refill. The concept is simple. In American casual dining and fast food, when a customer orders a soda, the glass will be refilled indefinitely at no additional charge. In Europe, every drink is a separate transaction. The free refill moment was replicated hundreds of times across social media by fans from different countries encountering the same thing. Fans were in disbelief over the free refills and portion sizes. Another shock was American portion sizes. They weren't simply large. They were huge. European countries serve more moderate portion sizes in restaurants, and diners usually expect to finish what is on their plate. Taking leftovers home is less common in several places. The American model inverts this entirely. The plate arrives large enough that boxing the remainder is standard practice. The serving is the spectacle, and the customer is expected to leave full rather than merely satisfied. Texas brisket became the specific cultural breaking point for hundreds of thousands of visitors. Smoked for 12 to 20 hours over oak wood. So tender it came apart before the fork reached it. European fans who encountered it for the first time described it a religious experience. By the end of the tournament, Europeans had coined a specific phrase for the post-Texas brisket state of mind. Then there was Buc-ee's. It did not advertise during the World Cup, and it did not need to. To understand the European reaction to Buc-ee's, it is necessary to understand what a European roadside petrol station looks like. A forecourt, 3 pumps, a small shop selling petrol station sandwiches, energy drinks, and maps that nobody buys anymore. If it is a good one, maybe a coffee machine. That is the ceiling. Some of America's biggest Buc-ee's locations have as many as 120 fuel pumps. It has a barbecue counter, a fudge counter, a jerky wall, a prepared food section, a frozen food section, a home goods section, outdoor furniture, branded merchandise, and restrooms that are cleaned continuously throughout the day and are larger and better maintained than most European hotel lobbies. Europeans who had been warned that America had inferior infrastructure stood in Buc-ee's restrooms in shock. In Boston, a Scottish family arrived at Quincy Market for lunch. They went to pay. The waiter told them it was already paid for by the stranger at the next table, who had heard their accent, decided they deserved a welcome, and left before anyone could thank him. Hospitality has perhaps been the biggest surprise for fans. They discovered diners that never seemed to close, and conversations with strangers that somehow turn into long discussion. For many European visitors, the single most disorienting experience was not a culture shock about American abundance or American warmth. It was safety. Specifically, the realization that the country they had been told was one of the most dangerous on earth was one of the safest they had ever walked through at night. A South African tourist filming himself walking under a bridge at midnight captured the moment that became one of the most widely shared clips of the tournament. He said, "America is safe. America is clean. America is friendly. Do you realize how rare this is around the world?" Female tourists specifically noted walking alone at night wearing jewelry without harassment, something that, by their own accounts, had become an unrealistic expectation in several European cities. The air conditioning shock also had a specific nationality attached to it. German fans were its most vocal ambassadors. A fan explained how Germans dealt with the summer heat. For British fans, it was a similar experience. They could be sitting in 35-degree heat outside, then walk into an American building and suddenly find the air conditioning so cold it felt like the building was determined to keep them from feeling warm. Fans also kept seeing the American flag everywhere. On houses, on businesses, on stadium facades, on hats, shirts, and the faces of strangers painted in red, white, and blue. The omnipresence of the American flag strikes many Europeans as intense. While patriotism is common, displaying the national flag in such high frequency is much more rare in most European countries. For German fans, it provokes something more layered, a genuine, visible admiration for a country that could love itself without embarrassment, combined with the painful awareness that their own history had made that particular freedom unavailable to them. And nowhere was that unapologetic love for America more visible than in the way Americans celebrate their sports. The tailgate is the American sporting tradition that Europeans understood the least before arriving and appreciated the most after experiencing it. In European football culture, the match is the event. You arrive, you watch, you leave. The experience is 90 minutes. Many visitors did not expect and found their first tailgate. The football has been brilliant. The culture shock has been even better, they said. German fans burst into tears at stadiums, not because of the result, but because an American family they had never met had given them a ticket to a match and then included them in their tailgate as if they had known each other for years. The final culture shock is the one that underpins all the others, the scale. America is simply larger than what Europeans are used to. The roads are wider. The cars are larger. The supermarkets are bigger. The stadiums are enormous. The Costco run became a rite of passage for European fans. The pizza the size of a table. The grocery store that took 40 minutes to navigate. The America they had imagined, the America they had been warned about, the America they had watched through screens for their entire lives, was not an exaggeration. If anything, it was the other way around. America is the only place where reality is even more glamorous than special effects in movies, a fan said. By the time their trips were coming to an end, the same realization was being repeated by fans from across Europe. And so across social media, one phrase kept coming back: we owe America an apology.